You're getting things out of order here. You're talking about military affairs when I wanted to talk about Marilyn Chambers, the star of Behind the Green Door, dying, and my allegation that sex is dirty. Steve in Las Vegas got the right idea. Thanks for calling the Savage Nation, Steve.
Hi, how you doing? Nice to talk to you. I love your show, man. You're right on target.
But go ahead. Now the good news.
Well, the good news is I've been in over 300 XXX movies. I actually knew Marilyn. I'm actually shocked to hear this right now. I'm kind of a little bit shaky because I knew her pretty well. So I suppose I'm going to be getting phone calls.
Didn't she have cancer for a number of years?
She did. She had been battling it. But I heard
Steve, look, let's be real, and I'm not going to put any moral judgments on what you do for a living. I mean, my positions are pretty clear, and people enjoy pornography, whether or not they admit it or not is another story. There certainly is a consumer base for pornography, or it wouldn't be there wouldn't be a market for it. So let's let that sit as it may, okay? But you know and I know that exposure to different individuals, and multiple exposures to many individuals, no matter how safe you try to be, does expose you to disease. That's a given. And you would know that in your industry, correct?
That's correct, but we have procedures that protect us from those diseases.
All right, then let's get very, very Swedish about this and clinical. Let us say that a man has intercourse with a woman using a condom. Is there not still an exchange of bodily fluids to a certain extent?
There is, and there's always a risk. This is true.
So, I mean, guys like you're how young are you? How old are you?
Well, I'm 44 now. I was in the industry when I was 24 to...
Oh, okay, so you're changing tires now in Cleveland.
Yeah, I have a...
Well, at least you got a sense of humor. You talked like you were still in the business. What are you doing? What does an ex-porn star do?
What's that? What's an ex-porn star
What does an ex-porn actor do?
Well, first of all, I have to give you a little bit of background on me. I graduated from...
Please, sir, I'm not that interested. What do you do now?
What do I do now? I'm in the security field.
Oh, you're going to tell me you're a Navy jet pilot?
No, I'm in the security field.
How do you, this is an intriguing thing. I never met anyone in the porn business. Honest to God, I never did. So, I want to ask you something. You do that for a living. Do you have normal relations with a woman in addition to that?
Well, my wife is still the biggest star in that industry, which is Alicia Rio. We were married and we were in the industry together for the whole time.
How can you do that? I don't understand it. How can you do sex for a living and then have sex with a wife? I don't get it.
Well, you know what? It's a different frame of mind. It's not for everybody, and not anybody can do it. I think.
Now you're telling me you have children running around and you go to church on Sunday?
I'm newly married, and I have a little child, and that she has nothing to do with the industry.
Was John Holmes what they said he was? Was he on the level of the Cuban Superman?
Yes, he was. He is the truth that all men were not created equal.
Hey, you remember in The Godfather 2 when they go to Cuba and Frito gets excited over the Cuban Superman? Do you remember that scene?
I vaguely do.
Yeah. Was there actually a man, the Cuban Superman?
Well,
All right, come on. Now this is getting absurd. But I heard rumors of the Cuban Superman in New York when I was a kid, and then the movie came out, and it was like, oh, big deal.
Right.
I want to talk about that for 1 minute in a delicate family manner, and I want to put something to rest. And I really want to do this in a very dignified manner. A lot of men fear that they are not endowed adequately to satisfy a woman. And they also suspect that all women are size queens. That's not true, is it?
It is not true. In fact...
And I'm gonna give you the converse of that. And I'm going to make a prediction if it hasn't already happened. The artificial breasts that you see today, promulgated the silicone implants in women, is there not a trend now that men want the natural woman?
This is absolutely true, actually.
In other words, the idea of this perennial youthful look, which is so plasticky, is a turnoff for most men. And not all men are turned on by women who are large-breasted. Some men like flat-chested women. Some men like women with small breasts. And I think the same thing is true with women towards men. Am I right or wrong?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
And this is not, you see, but this is not part of the national psyche. The national psyche is if it's bigger, it's better, and women love you more. And I think that this was a very important conversation, which is why I said, although we can talk about the piracy and we can talk about Cuba, and we will, the death of Marilyn Chambers, the porn star, is actually more important today in America. I'll be right back.